What's up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to this edition of Byte It. I'm Adam, one of your hosts. We've got a new host coming all the way from the internet. It is absolutely crazy, which is actually really absolutely amazing the way the internet's been acting lately. We've got Justin. What is happening?
How's it going? Thanks for having me on the show.
No problem, man. Great to have, if you'll remember, what was it, about 3 weeks ago? 4 weeks ago? That we got talking a little bit of cell phone technology, and I can't remember exactly what we were talking about. Oh, I'm so lost on that. But we were talking about where, I cannot remember the topic that it was. But
we were talking about cell phone towers or something like that.
Yeah, it was 4G. Whether 4G was actually 4G or not. And what the clarification of what 4G was exactly. So it's awesome to have him on the show. So we're going to have him on future shows, so be prepared for that. So, without delaying at all, if you're not familiar with what Byte It is anything that has to do with technology completely. Anything with a chip in it, anything with wires, you could say. So we'll go ahead and we'll jump into the first topic of the night, which is going to be a little bit of something that if it wasn't up and running, this show would not be working at all right now. So Skype had a little bit of interruption services over it was over the week pretty much. So they were saying that basically, that they had to upload super nodes, super mega nodes, I think that's what they were saying, or mega nodes, to be able to get Skype back up and running again. They said, they didn't say what the interruption of the service was, but I'm pretty sure that we all know what was happening with that. You've heard a lot about the FCC regulation of the net neutrality that we'll actually get into later on in the show, and we'll discuss a little bit more. But there's a little group called Anonymous, and they're from one of the websites, 4chan, but they were actually taking, some of it was, pretty much was, DOS attacks. So, Justin, what do you think? You think it was actually, they were trying to say, it was a little bit of hardware on their end also, but do you think it was actually attacks, or do you think it was actually, hardware failure, I guess you could say?
Well, I don't know. I think anytime we have something happen on the internet, when there's a failure and it really affects a lot of people, we start placing blame on everybody else. So I think it's probably a little bit of both. I mean, essentially there's something for them to push it to, or push it onto somebody else, but at the same token, I think that it probably falls a little bit on Skype themselves.
Yeah, I mean, for their service to get, who was it that actually lasted through the attacks? It was Amazon, right? No, it was, I can't remember who, the one company that lasted through the attacks. I know that Twitter got hit. I know that Facebook was trying to get hit. And then they completely took PayPal offline. They attacked Visa. Oh, no, yeah, it was PayPal that actually survived. Thank you, chat room.
Oh.
But, I mean, these kind of attacks, yeah, I can understand. But for Skype to go down, they were talking about how many people were actually affected in this. They were able to take down, I think it's 9 million people all at once. I couldn't get online. If we were doing shows that week, we were going to be completely screwed because we use Skype a lot. I know that, Leo Laporte uses Skype for his business. Pretty much he doesn't have, he has people in studio, but doesn't really, do too much with that. Mostly it's over Skype. So, I wonder how many businesses were affected. Any businesses that that use Skype or anything like that? Do you all use Skype where you work at or anything like that?
No, I don't use any Skype. I know that a lot of, just like the livelihood of the podcasters and different communities like that, were definitely affected. We delayed a show one day, but other than that, I think it really depends on what you're doing and who's out there. But I don't know how big of a buzz it hurt. I know if it was a week-long tragedy, but how long did this last?
It was like a 2-day span. I know they said that they fixed it, within 24 hours of the first attack. And then, on the let's see here, December the 23rd, I want to say, possibly 23rd to 24th, possibly, between those two, is they got hit again. And, you know, who knows? I mean, maybe people, you know, during Christmas time, you know, use Skype to be able to video conference with. I know some of the military uses that. Who knows how long that's going to last after the WikiLeaks thing? But you know, I know some of the military uses that to be able to contact their family and things like that. So I don't know. But yeah, I really can't believe that they got shut down for, you know, a couple. But 24 hours is absolutely amazing for something that big. You know, 9 million users to get shut down. That's, you know, it definitely was. Voices were crying out over the internet completely. So, but we're going to move on to your next story. What do you have for us?
Well, I think up next we got Nexus S, and I think I picked up this topic just because it's been around. A lot of people have been seeing it all over the place, but it didn't get as much buzz as I expected. It's a really cool device that's loaded down with all the newest technology for an Android phone, as well as a lot of really neat hardware as well. Are you familiar with the device?
I've seen it. I haven't actually played with it yet. Let's see here. We'll check it out here. I'll pull it up here and let everybody look to see exactly what it is. Okay, so this is the one that had the curved like screen to it. Now, is there a reason why the screen is actually curved or anything?
Well, it's kind of neat. I actually picked one up and have held it in hand, and it's very subtle. Like, unless you look at a very specific angle, you don't even notice the curvature until you put it up to your face and hold it up to your face, and you can kind of tell that it kind of hugs the side of your face, which from a sales aspect, I can see saying that. But it doesn't distort the screen, doesn't affect the screen. The screen on it's actually what they call the Super AMO LED, so it's a really high resolution screen, really good backlighting. It's very, very nice. Just a beautiful screen on it altogether. So from a hardware design, it's really nice. It does have a front-facing camera and an outward-facing camera as well. So you have the capability to use you know, face-to-face chat and different things like that. 4-inch screen, so loaded down there as well. The thing that's made this kind of stand out above some of the other devices that are out there is that it's the first device to run Gingerbread, which is Android's operating system and newest operating system on the market.
Okay, so that's the 3rd edition, right?
It's fourth or fifth. I mean, but it's pretty much third edition that's really been well known.
So this is this the one that runs the new Google Maps, right? Where you can be able to go through and like transition from I guess to be able to pull up where you have I'm trying to think, like cities and stuff like that. You can actually adjust it down where you can see the cities and stuff like that. I'm trying to think exactly what it was.
Yeah, it's like first-person view, or the capability to go back and forth there.
Yeah. So is it a lot faster than the other smartphones out there? Like,
yeah, it's very snappy, and a couple of the reasons that they say attribute to that is that it's got 16 gigs of internal memory that you can't upgrade it, you can't add more, you can't take away from it, but it's 16 gigs of memory that's built into the device. And it's kind of like the iPhone. Any device that you have set memory in, there's not a chip that you're putting in and out of it, is going to get faster response because it's built in internally. So because of that capability, it really makes it choppier. It also has a dedicated graphics processor. So there's a GPU built in there that's really good for like playing games and web browsing and making videos and things like that a lot faster and smoother. So yeah, it's really a hot device in that aspect. I think the only thing that might be holding it back, and I'm not that I'm against T-Mobile in any way, shape, or form, but from a network aspect, it just doesn't seem like it's getting the support that it should deserve on T-Mobile.
Yeah,
it is.
Now, is it only exclusive to T-Mobile?
Well, it's not. It's exclusively unlocked, so you can buy it unlocked. It's $529 if you buy it outright. But unlocked version, you can run it pretty much in the States on AT&T and T-Mobile because it's GSM based. So those are only two carriers that will really support the device. With it being AT&T, it's great, but it only runs on their Edge network, so you can't get full 3G on the device itself.
So, yeah, I don't understand why. Well, you'd think they would learn from Apple's, their main problem whenever they first came out with the iPhone is that it was running on the Edge technology, which was shitty. I mean, it's not. I mean, it's okay. It's not great, but it's okay. And then they came out with the 3G, and that was supposed to revolutionize the way that the iPhone functioned on the internet and things like that. But I just don't see. I mean, usually whenever you say AT&T, that puts a really bad taste in people's mouths because they get so aggravated that, oh, well, I'm locked down to what, they want me to do. And especially out west, so many drop calls with the new iPhone. People are going crazy. They can't figure out what in the hell's going on. And Apple's blaming, well, they're not really blaming, but they're kind of handing it off to, well, it might be AT&T and the service that you're in, the towers and stuff like that. And then AT&T is trying to be like, well, it's not our device. I mean, it's not our fault. It's the device's fault. So,
another example of placing blame.
Yeah, I don't really understand that at all. It's just, man up. Say you fucked up. Say you messed up and put the antenna on the outside and it fucked up. Okay, well, maybe we did a dumb mistake. We tried to make it look all nice and shiny, but it sucks. But I'm all for this phone. And
yeah, it's cool. I'd get your hands on it if you could, because
a graphics processor. That's freaking sweet. To be able to play games on. I'm in right there. That's got me. So my question is, okay, so it's another touch screen, and does the keyboard actually feel like it's responsive to whenever you touch it? That's another big thing that I have a big problem with.
Yeah, and another big update that they did with 2.3 and on the Nexus S is that the keyboard itself is a lot more reactive, and it's a little bit better spaced. So the design behind it is a lot more. It's smarter. It's just a smarter device, and of course, it's got the speech to text, so you can hit the little microphone, say, "Hey, sorry, I'm driving. Let me give you a call later," and it feeds it right in there. It's using the Google Voice technology and seems to work really well. It's pretty much an Android phone on steroids, and I think if we could see it on Verizon Network or even on AT&T with 3G, or if T-Mobile works in your area, it's the best device to get your hands on because it's really got some cool features and the newest, latest, and greatest technology on the market to date.
See, that's pretty cool. I have to say, I do like the design of it. This is what I was talking about. If anybody's watching the live feed, but I showed a little bit of Google Maps, but then it didn't show any of the feature of it. But I am all for this thing. I think it looks great. I'm more power for me to be a gamer and be able to see this thing have a GPU in it. I'm amazed, absolutely amazed.
Very cool.
I kind of want it now. So we're gonna move on to the next one. Let's see here. What do I have? That is the question. The 10 big redesigns of 2010.